Jason was a tech prodigy. At 25, he had already made a name for himself in cybersecurity, but his curiosity often led him down dark paths. One evening, while combing through online forums for new hacking challenges, he stumbled upon a thread discussing a legendary piece of code, the Vanishing code. The post was cryptic, written by a user named Erebus. It claimed the code could erase anything from the internet, even from government databases. Skeptical but intrigued, Jason decided to dig deeper. The thread contained a link to a hidden marketplace on the dark web. After hours of setting up his VPNs and encryptions, he accessed the marketplace. The site was a chaotic mix of illegal goods and ominous services, but Jason focused on finding Erebus. After scrolling through countless listings, he found what he was looking for. The Vanishing code, $10,000 in Bitcoin. The description read, "Once purchased, instructions will be sent. Use at your own risk." Jason wasn't planning to buy it, but he couldn't resist messaging Erebus. Pretending to be an interested buyer, he wrote, "How do I know this code is real?" Minutes later, a reply appeared. "You don't. But once you see what it can do, you'll wish you hadn't." Chills ran down Jason's spine. Erebus then sent him a sample, a small string of code. Against his better judgment, Jason ran it on a virtual machine. The result was instantaneous and terrifying. A random folder on his desktop disappeared, along with its backups. There was no trace of it anywhere. The purchase. Jason's curiosity turned into obsession. Despite the steep price, he transferred the Bitcoin and received the full code with detailed instructions. The email warned, "Do not attempt to reverse engineer this. Consequences will follow." Jason dismissed the warning as a scare tactic. For weeks, he dissected the code, marveling at its complexity. It wasn't just a program, it was an anomaly. The code seemed almost alive, adapting and evolving as he tested it in controlled environments. One night, Jason decided to push the limits. He targeted a dummy server he had set up. As the code executed, the server's data vanished. But something unexpected happened. His laptop screen flickered, and a new folder appeared on his desktop labeled Erebus. Inside the folder was a single file, youwerewarned.txt. The message read, "You have violated the terms. Now, you must face the consequences." Jason felt a surge of panic. He tried deleting the folder, but it reappeared every time. His antivirus software was useless. Within hours, strange things began happening. His phone wouldn't turn on, his bank account showed zero balance, and his social media profiles vanished. It was as if someone was systematically erasing his existence. The descent. Jason sought help from his friend Claire, a fellow cybersecurity expert. He showed her the code and explained everything. Claire was horrified. "This isn't just code, Jason. It's like a virus with a mind of its own. You need to stop messing with this." But it was too late. That night, Claire called Jason in a panic. Her computer was acting up, displaying cryptic messages like, "You're next." Jason realized the code had infected her system too. Desperate, Jason tried contacting Erebus through the marketplace, but the account was gone. The site itself had disappeared. He began noticing other anomalies. Strangers on the street staring at him for too long, his reflection in mirrors lagging a second behind, and whispers in his empty apartment. The revelation. Jason dug deeper, searching for any trace of Erebus. He found an old blog post from a forgotten corner of the internet. It described Erebus as a collective of rogue programmers experimenting with AI and quantum computing. Their goal was to create a self-aware algorithm that could manipulate reality through digital means. The post ended with a chilling line. "Those who interact with Erebus become part of it." Jason's paranoia grew. He stopped sleeping, convinced he was being watched. His screens would flicker randomly, displaying images of himself sitting at his desk, even when his webcam was covered. One day, he woke up to find his apartment completely empty. His furniture, belongings, even his clothes were gone. His computer was the only thing left, displaying a single message. "Join us." The final choice. Jason realized he had two options: fight back, or surrender. Using his remaining resources, he created a countercode designed to isolate and destroy Erebus. For days, he worked tirelessly, ignoring hunger and exhaustion. When he finally executed the countercode, his computer exploded in a burst of sparks. Jason blacked out. The aftermath. He woke up in a stark white room, strapped to a chair. A voice echoed around him. "Welcome, Jason. You've proven yourself worthy." In front of him was a screen displaying endless lines of code. The voice continued. "You are no longer an individual. You are part of the system now." Jason's screams went unheard as he felt his mind being pulled into the digital abyss. His body slumped lifelessly in the chair, but his consciousness lived on within Erebus. Some say the Erebus code still circulates the dark web, waiting for the next curious soul to claim. And if you ever find a strange folder on your desktop, remember Jason's story and don't open it. Lena's obsession with cryptic puzzles had always been a harmless hobby, until it wasn't. She stumbled upon an online forum one evening while searching for challenging riddles. The forum claimed to host unbreakable puzzles that even AI couldn't solve. Intrigued, Lena clicked the link, not realizing it would lead her deep into the murky depths of the dark web. The site, named Cipher Abyss, was minimalist but ominous. Its homepage displayed a single line of text: "Crack the code, and you will see the truth." Beneath it was a text box and a timer counting down from 72 hours. Without thinking much, Lena entered her email and clicked "Accept the challenge." The first puzzle. Within minutes, Lena received an email. The message contained a strange sequence of numbers and letters: 4D2, A-7B1, F-6, E3C. The email included no instructions, just the sequence. Her heart raced with excitement as she grabbed her notepad and began decoding. After hours of research, she realized it was a hexadecimal string representing coordinates. She entered the coordinates into an online map and found herself staring at a seemingly random location in the Nevada desert. The next morning, a new email arrived. It was an image of a dilapidated house with no accompanying text. Confused but intrigued, Lena reverse-searched the image and discovered the house was a well-known urban legend, rumored to be cursed. The descent into paranoia. As Lena solved more puzzles, the challenges grew darker. Each solved riddle revealed unsettling truths about unsolved crimes or chilling urban myths. The forum members seemed equally obsessed, leaving cryptic messages in response to Lena's posts. "You're closer than you think." They're watching now. One night, Lena woke up to a notification on her laptop. A new email had arrived. This time, the email contained a link to a live feed. Clicking it, she saw a grainy video of her own bedroom. The realization hit her like a freight train. Someone had hacked into her webcam. She slammed her laptop shut, her heart pounding. She couldn't sleep that night, jumping at every sound. The unsolvable puzzle. Despite her fear, Lena couldn't resist the final challenge. The forum admin, a user named Cyphermaster, had posted a new riddle. What is always in front of you but cannot be seen? Lena instantly thought of the future. She typed the answer, but the system rejected it. Frustrated, she spent hours brainstorming but found no other plausible answer. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. "The answer," a distorted voice said, "is your death." The line went dead. The revelation panicking, Lena unplugged her devices and tried to delete her accounts on the forum, but Cipher Abyss wouldn't let her go. Every attempt to leave was met with a message: "You cannot unsee the truth." Desperate, Lena sought help from a tech-savvy friend, Max. After hearing her story, Max agreed to investigate. He discovered that Cipher Abyss wasn't just a forum. It was a recruiting ground for a shadowy organization. The puzzles were a test to identify people with exceptional problem-solving skills. But why threaten her? Max muttered. Before he could dig deeper, Max's screen went black. A message appeared. Interference will not be tolerated. The escape attempt, Max insisted Lena stay at his place while he secured her devices. That night, Lena received another email. This time it included a single image. Max asleep on his couch. The timestamp indicated the photo had been taken minutes ago. Terrified, Lena woke Max, and they decided to flee. As they packed, the power in the house went out. The only light came from Lena's laptop, which had mysteriously powered itself on. A new message appeared. Running is futile. A low rumble echoed outside. Peeking through the blinds, they saw a black van idling in the street. Two figures in masks emerged, heading toward the house. The confrontation, Max grabbed a baseball bat while Lena dialed 911. Before she could complete the call, the front door burst open. The masked intruders didn't speak. One aimed a device at Lena, causing her to collapse into unconsciousness. When Lena woke, she was in a sterile, windowless room. A man in a suit sat across from her. "Congratulations," he said. "You passed the test." "Test?" Lena's voice trembled. "We need minds like yours," he explained. "You've been selected to join us. Refusal is not an option." The final choice. Lena was given two options: join the organization and use her skills for their mysterious objectives, or face elimination. With no way out, she reluctantly agreed. Weeks later, she sat at a new computer, solving puzzles that unlocked classified information and orchestrated global events. The world outside became a distant memory. But deep down, Lena knew she wasn't the only one. Somewhere, someone else was clicking, "Accept the challenge," unknowingly stepping into the abyss. For as long as Olivia could remember, she'd been fascinated by the digital world. She was a programmer by trade, but her curiosity extended far beyond coding languages and application development. Late at night, she'd trawl through forums about the dark web, captivated by its ominous reputation and the whisperings of forbidden secrets. It was a place she'd never ventured, not until the day an encrypted email landed in her inbox. The subject line read, "Want to uncover the truth?" Olivia's finger hovered over the mouse. She didn't recall signing up for any mailing lists that might send such cryptic messages, yet the allure was undeniable. Against her better judgment, she clicked. The email contained nothing but a link, an indecipherable string of characters and symbols. A chill ran down her spine as she stared at it. It was the kind of thing she knew she should delete, but she didn't. Instead, Olivia downloaded the Tor browser and followed the link. The screen glitched as she was redirected through layers of encrypted sites. Finally, she landed on a stark page with a single question. "What do you seek?" There was a text box below it, waiting for her answer. Olivia hesitated, then typed, "The truth." Moments later, the screen refreshed. The new message read, "Access granted. Welcome to the labyrinth." What followed was a seemingly endless series of pages filled with bizarre content. Conspiracy theories, lost historical documents, and live chat rooms buzzing with cryptic discussions. It was overwhelming, but one link caught her eye. It was labeled, "The Vanishing Code." Intrigued, Olivia clicked. The page that loaded was unlike anything she'd ever seen. It was a matrix of symbols and characters, ever shifting and glowing faintly. Beneath it was a line of text. "Decrypt the code, and you will see the unseen." Olivia's heart raced. She loved puzzles, and this one seemed tailor-made for someone with her skills. She began transcribing the code into her own program, attempting to decipher its logic. Hours passed, then days. The world outside her apartment blurred into irrelevance as she became consumed by the challenge. The more she worked, the stranger the patterns became. Hidden within the code were images, flashes of distorted faces, places she didn't recognize, and symbols she couldn't comprehend. She began to feel like the code was alive, almost as if it were watching her. One night, as she stared at her screen, her computer suddenly shut off. The room plunged into darkness, and for a moment Olivia froze. Then she heard it, a faint tapping sound coming from her window. Her apartment was on the 5th floor. Swallowing her fear, she approached the window and peered out into the night. Nothing. Just the wind rustling the trees below. She closed the curtains and returned to her desk, only to find her computer back on. The screen now displayed a single message. "Stop now." Olivia's pulse quickened. Who was sending these messages, and how had they accessed her system? She tried to disconnect her computer from the internet, but the message remained, as if it were burned into her monitor. Then, the screen changed again. This time, it showed a live feed of her apartment, from the perspective of her bedroom doorway. She whipped around, but the doorway was empty. Heart pounding, she grabbed her phone and called the police. When they arrived, they found no sign of an intruder. The officer's skeptical glance said it all. They thought she was imagining things, but Olivia knew better. Someone was watching her. Determined to get to the bottom of it, she dove back into the code. Days turned into sleepless nights as she pushed herself to uncover its secrets. She began to notice strange phenomena. Objects in her apartment moved when she wasn't looking. Whispered voices seemed to emanate from her speakers, and shadows flickered at the edges of her vision. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she cracked the final layer of the code. Her screen filled with a video feed of a dimly lit room. In the center was a man tied to a chair, his head slumped forward. A figure wearing a mask entered the frame, holding a long knife. Olivia's stomach churned as she realized what she was seeing. It was a live execution. The masked figure turned to face the camera, then slowly lifted a hand to remove the mask. Olivia gasped. The face beneath was her own. The feed cut out, leaving her screen black. Panic consumed her. She tried to shut her computer down, but it wouldn't respond. Then, her phone buzzed. A text message popped up. "You've seen too much." Olivia grabbed her keys and bolted from her apartment, but the world outside offered no solace. Every person she passed seemed to watch her with hollow eyes, their faces vaguely familiar. She realized with growing dread that she'd seen them before, in the images hidden within the code. Over the next few days, Olivia tried to return to normalcy, but normalcy eluded her. She deleted her files, destroyed her computer, and even moved to a new city. But the shadows followed her. The whispers grew louder, and every night, she dreamed of the masked figure wearing her face. One morning, she woke up to find her new computer, a device she'd never purchased, sitting on her desk. Its screen was already on, displaying a single message: "The labyrinth never lets go."